Good morning. Welcome to Peter versus the Machine. I am Peter. I am your host and your gamer today. How's everybody doing? I've been already been hanging out in chat for a couple minutes already, so I got a chance to say hi to some of you. Uh, we're gonna play Charterstone today. I think this game is first of all just beautiful. This is another game by Stonemaier Games, so I played Scythe a couple times already. Um, So I guess I'm in a Stonemaier Games fanboy mode right now. I might do. I think Viticulture is online. I might try and play. I might see if I can find that and play it next. I'm not gonna make any promises about what I'm gonna play next week, but I am thinking continue the Stonemaier Games run before going on to one of the other great game companies in our industry. So let me talk a little bit about Stonemaier Games here, or Charterstone. Charterstone is a legacy game. Now, I know that's either exciting or a turnoff, depending on who you are and how you feel about legacy games. Oh, love Charterstone. Bangar 4. Only played the first two or three episodes, but it's great. Oh, thank you. Good. Great. I'm glad you like it. It is a legacy game. It's a campaign of 12 games that you play over the course of the legacy campaign. I'm only going to play the first game. One thing that is really fun about Charterstone is that you're always the game starts off fairly straightforward. Not like some would say simplistic. I disagree. I mean, I think it's a really good game right from the beginning. And then the game will add every game you play in the series adds new elements to the game, increasing the complexity, increasing it as a strategy game. So I certainly stand by Charterstone being a deep strategy game. And it doesn't take long. By game like three or four, it's like, okay, wow, there's a lot going on in this game. But I think that a lot of the fun of Charterstone is discovering those pieces for the first time, those elements, with your friends. Like, I remember that when Dee and I played Charterstone, we first started playing it. Oh my God, we just couldn't wait to play the next game because we'd be like, oh, what's in the box? What is the new element? What are the new tokens that are going to get added? What are the new functionality of the game? And when you're done with the whole campaign, you have a standalone board game. You've, of course, like a lot of legacy games, you've now modified the game. You've added a bunch of stuff to the board. The board has gone from looking kind of simple to just like this big, full-fledged worker placement sort of game. And that what you're left with is a game you can play over and over and over again. And that standalone game will be unique because it will reflect the choices that you and your other players at your table made during the course of the game. And so I highly recommend it. The digital version, by the way, I'm checking my watch or my phone every once in a while for messages in case in case something's wrong with the stream. I got people standing by who will text me. Steve and Marcus will let me know. Uh, if the game that you're left with is a standalone game that's unique to you, you can play over and over and over again. And so Dee and I we finished ours, and we have played it since then a few times, and that's a lot of fun. We did something a little unusual. I think the game is designed for up to 6 players, and it really works best. I think even 4 players is good, 4 to 6 players. Um, Instead of having the same group of players play through the entire 12 games, we had a different set of friends come in and play each of the games. So I don't think the result was, the result of, this pure thought and strategy of how to min max every single faction in the game, or what they call them, charters in the game. I think, and even D and I, just to balance it out, we would change which charter we were playing each game. So it's a little bit. I doubt that it's the best version of Charterstone as a final game because of how the players were changing all the time between each game. But we had everybody sign the board, and so the beautiful thing was we ended up with this board that has. I would show it to you, except I don't want to. I don't want to spoil. all the surprises in the game that come later in the game. But we have this artifact that has all these signatures of all these people that played the game with us and basically helped us create that game. So it's pretty cool. All right, let me switch to the scene that shows the entry. Okay, so we're playing this on Steam, of course. The cool thing about doing a legacy game on Steam digitally is that it keeps track of all the things, and so you can play this as a campaign on Steam and let it do all the hard work of tracking all the pieces. Because legacy games can be a little bit fiddly. Like, you definitely want to have, you're going to tackle Charterstone, the tabletop version, you got to have that player in your group who is super finicky and likes to organize everything and put that player in charge of your game, because there's a lot of that sort of stuff going on. All right, so right off the bat, you see that this game is really beautiful. I said, if you saw my Facebook post, I'm not a big fan of anime. I don't do a lot of anime type of stuff, but the anime style art, even if that's, I think this is anime. That's how much of an anime expert I am. It really works for me in this game. Like, it just feels right, So anyway, let's start it. I'm gonna do a local. You can do a single game on here, but it's a single game that includes all the components of all the 12 games. So, like, for showing you, I don't want to give away all the cool stuff in this game. I just want to play the first game as if it was the first game of a campaign, just so you see enough to feel like, okay, I get an idea what that game is, but I'm only gonna play that first game, and you're not gonna, if you want to see all the rest of the cool stuff that comes out over the course of a campaign, I'm hoping to whet your appetite and that you will go try it. So I'm gonna play a campaign, although I'm just gonna play the first game. Okay, I'm gonna do an empty game slot here. First thing you do is you name your village. You can see I did this already, but I'm going to use the same name again. I'm going to call Lake Geneva. Yeah, and okay, so here it pops up with the 6 different characters that you can play. So I'm going to play, of course, if you're playing with other players, they would each of us would choose a different one. I'm going to choose this guy over here on the right. It suggests a name Bruce. I'm going to name him Haas, because that's kind of my alter ego name that I use in a lot of games. So there goes Haas. And I'm not going to try and rename all the other characters. And I'm not super expert in this game, so I'm not going to crank the AIs up to hard. It'll be hard enough for me to win. I guess it's easy. Okay, so the first thing that happens is that the game starts off with this story. And I'll just read you these parts that come up. The immortal Forever King has selected 6 citizens of Green Gully to start a new village far from the Emerald City. Okay, that's our village. That's what we're gonna do. So there's the 6 of us. Yeah, okay. Woo-hoo. And congratulations on being chosen. Your goal is to bring the greatest glory to the Forever King, so you may rule the village in his name. Okay. After spending all day flying over the kingdom, the Zeppelin sets down and the guards open the hatch for you and your companions. The sun is setting as you venture outside. The location is a lush landscape of rolling hills, patches of trees, and a babbling brook. By the way, don't panic, I will not be reading like this for an hour. This is just a short little prelude to set up. The guards unload a number of mysterious crates and forbid you to open any of them. The group gathers around a large rock, a large D6. You recognize it as a Charterstone, just like the one at the center of the Emerald City. And of course, in the board game version, you get a die that looks like this. That's fun. Okay, so your first task is to construct a basic resource building in your charter. It will provide you with a basic resource of your charter. You can construct it on one of the 6 plots of the charter. Okay, so I am going to stop reading this. Okay, so let's back up and look at the map and kind of bigger. So I'm zooming out so you can kind of see most. This is what the board looks like, and It's divided up into 6 charters, and you can see my charter is down in the bottom right, and it has 6 plots. Charterstone is a worker placement game, and it starts with very few places you can go to, but as you build, as you play the game, one of the dimensions of which you explore this game, it's a legacy game, is that you add places in your charter, in your corner of the board, where workers can go to do things. Okay, so there's 6 of those places, and right off the bat, we're going to build a something in one of those places. So bam, there it is, and woohoo! All right, so now I'm gonna. While we're here, let's look at the rest of it. So there are also 5 places in the middle of the board that are already built. This is called the commons. These 5 places in the middle are not places that are in anybody's charter. They're kind of neutral territory. But by the way, just because a building is in your charter doesn't mean other players can't use it. So you can use all of the places. You can send your workers to any place on the entire board that you want to go to. But these places are not in your charter. Most of the game, it doesn't really matter other than you get to control what gets built in your charter. That's the main thing that is special about your charter, is that they're buildings you chose to build. Okay, there is, so we'll explain each of these buildings in a bit. There's also one up here in the upper left. This is also not in like Sebastian's charter or Kevin's charter. This is outside of that as well. Okay, let me just see where this takes us next. Okay, you have constructed your first building. You need to name your charter. Okay, I'm going to name my charter Horticultural Hall in Lake Geneva. Okay, some of you know what that means. That is where the very first Gen Con was held. That's right. Okay, everything's ready. Let's play the game. Time to determine the first player. They're going to roll the Charterstone dice and see who the first player is. There it goes. Boom, boom, boom. And it's going to be Sebastian. Okay? And so Sebastian's going to do something. Once the AI takes turns for everybody up to me, then it'll stop and we can start. I can explain what's going on here. Okay. There is... I gotta fiddle here for a moment, figure out how to... There's a way of viewing a little cheat on what each of the buildings does. And I thought I had it selected. I thought it was this colorblind mode. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. There's a configuration here that I'm trying to... Let me just try this again. Main menu. Local game. Let's just continue it. See if it resets when I come back. Ah, it did. Okay. Alright, so what I was trying to get to now, I don't know if you notice the difference, but there are now little symbols beneath each of these buildings, and these little symbols and icons give you clues to what happens in the building. So that's what I want to do to be able to see. Okay, so this is a worker placement game. It's down here in the bottom, it's showing me that I have 2 workers ready to go. When it's your turn, you can do one thing. You can take one worker and place it on the board somewhere. If you don't have a worker to place, then you have to use the retrieve all command. You can also, even if you do have a worker to place, if there's a worker out on the map and you want to bring it back, you can do the retrieve all command anytime you have at least one worker somewhere out on the map. Okay, but if you have no worker, if all your workers are out on the map, you have to retrieve them. So if you have... but if you place a worker somewhere and then it goes to the next player, and one of the other players, before it comes back to you, goes to the same spot where your worker is, then it kicks your worker back to your supply. So, you know, in some worker placement games, those of you who've played a lot of worker placement games, you know that some of them if you occupy, Agricola is a good example. If you occupy, which is, by the way, that's the classic. That's an amazing game. I would love to be able to play that online and teach it. I'm not sure I can because I think it went out of whatever the digital version of out of print is. Anyway, so in this game you can go to any spot you want to, whether it's occupied or not. But if it is occupied, then you send the worker that's there back to the supply of the player who owns that worker. So you can see with only 2 workers, if you don't get bumped, then every third turn is going to be a wasted turn. So you're kind of hoping that somebody's going to bump your worker so that you don't have to waste a turn getting your workers back. Well, the cool thing is you can bump your own worker. And so one strategy in this game is if you know that there's a spot you want to go to several times, if you can kind of organize your plan around having those be consecutive appearances. I mean, sometimes that's not going to work, but like if you can say, well, I'm going to need 6 grain because I'm going to have 2 grain for this and a 3 grain for this and a grain for that, and just plan on going to get the grain 6 times in a row to the same spot, like this spot right here, which is my plot, where the icon here says that you get a grain by going there. If you can do that sequentially, then each time you're bumping yourself, and it's very efficient in terms of not having to waste turns retrieving your workers. So that's a big part of the strategy in this game, is to figure out how to do that. Okay, let's talk about what the spots are here. You can see everybody has now built a plot, and all the plots that people have built have a similar sort of thing, which is that if you go to this plot that I built, if you go there, you get a grain. That's what it is. I think if I mouse over this and hold it still, maybe it'll pop up a longer description. But basically, when you go to plot, see where it says, there we go. Benefit is a grain. So the green arrow is what you get. If it has a red arrow, that's the cost. Okay, so these 6 spots that were built by the 6 players and the 6 charters each have a fundamental thing that the game needs, which is like these are spots you can go to collect these 6 resources associated with charters. So grain, coal, metal, clay, pumpkins, and wood. Those are like the 6 basic resources of the game. So the spots in the commons are a little more involved. So let's see, this one is called the market, and the cost of the market is any resource. So the bag, when you see the icon, that's the bag. That's a wild card. It means you pay any resource you want. You get to choose. So that could be a grain, it could be a wood, it could be a pumpkin, whatever. And you pay a coin, and as your reward for going there, you get an advancement card. Okay, what are advancement cards? So there's a deck of cards that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger throughout the course of your legacy campaign. This called the advancement deck. It's not the only deck in the game, but it's the main deck in the game. So up here in the top left, where you see all these handshakes, I'm going to click on that, and what there is on the board is what's called an advancement mat, and it's a place where there's a spot for the deck, which is up here. These are face down cards, and there's also a spot for there's 5 spots that are for visible cards. So these are cards that are face up that you can see that are there. So there's the longshoreman. Now if I click on one of these cards, it gives a longer description. So what the longshoreman does, if you happen to have this card, is that whenever you gain reputation, you gain a victory point. Okay, well, we haven't talked about reputation yet, but you get the idea. Archivist, when you use the market. Oh, we just talked about the market. But the market's what lets you draw from the advancement mat one of these advancement cards. So when you use the market, you gain a reputation. When you use the treasury, you regain an influence, etc., etc. So right now there's only these 5, and there's only 3 cards in the deck, but later there's going to over the course, there's going to be lots and lots of cards in this deck, and all sorts of different types of cards also. Okay, so the way to get one of these cards is to go to the market, pay a resource and a coin, pick any of the cards that you want from the map. The treasury lets you convert any resource to a coin. So right now, that's the only way to get a coin. So, because you have all these spots that let you get more resources, but how do you get a coin? So to get coins, until other buildings are built that expedite this process, you have to go out, get a resource, and then take the resource over the treasury and turn it in for a coin. And so that's that. The upper right one in the commons is called the grandstand. So every game has 3 objective cards that are optional, but if you want to go after them for victory points, you can do so. And they change because there's a deck of objective cards, and so which 3 get drawn, it's going to be random each game. I'm going to click on this and see what it says. Okay, so the objectives that are in this particular game are amass wealth, which if I click on it, it says if you have at least 6 coins. So if at any point in the game I have at least 6 coins, I can go to the grandstand here, and because I have 6 coins, it will let me put an influence token on this spot, which will be, my little symbol down here will get lit up effectively. And that will, and I also gain 5 victory points for that. So the symbol here that is kind of a white ball surrounded by kind of purple filigree, that is the victory point symbol. And also gain, if I do that, I will advance the progress track. So let me explain what the progress track is. The progress track is how the game, how we know when the game's about ready to, where we're at in terms of the length of the game. So the progress track is, it starts off, you can see this, the leftmost circle on this track is blacked out, blued out, whatever. At certain points in the game, when you see this symbol of fire, like it looks like the Olympic fire in a bowl or something like that. Anyway, when that is a reward, then the next one of these gets blocked out until you get all the way to the end. And when you get to the end, the game's over. The last one's blocked out. Also, if you happen to be the person that causes the one of the spaces with the boat, the boat symbol there is the symbol for reputation, which is worth extra victory points at the end of the game. If you cover up that symbol, if you're the one that does whatever happened to cause the progress track to advance, if you're the person that made that happen, then you have the option of getting a point of reputation. So that's how the progress. So we'll watch that. At first it'll go really, really slow. It'll take a while before it starts. It's not going to advance really quickly. And then towards the end of the game, the rate at which you're approaching the end of the game will get faster and faster towards the end. Because if any player runs out of influence, which we'll talk about soon, that player, at the beginning of that player's turn, it causes the progress track to advance by 1. So once players start running out of influence, then it's going to advance really quick. Okay, so going back to the commons, so going to the grandstand, you take an influence that you have, you put it on that spot because you qualified, you've got that objective, and then you get the 5 victory points, and it causes the progress marker to go on. That's how that works. Okay, I've mentioned influence a couple times. Let's explain it. Over here on the left, you see a little summary of all the players in the game and what they have going on. And you can see mine's kind of slid to the right. That's saying that it's my turn. And you can see that both of my meeples are in my supply. You can see the players that have gone before me only have one of their meeples is shaded out, so you can see that. You can see I have 4 coins. I was just given 4 coins at the beginning, so that's nice because coins are a little bit of a hassle to get. They're harder to get than resources because you have to go get a resource and then convert the resource to a coin. And right beside it, there's a little ink, a feather quill pen. That's a symbol for influence. And I have 12 points of influence out of a possible 12. So, influence are certain things you do. They're like a resource in a way, but you can't go out. It's harder to go out and get more influence, especially in the first game. So things that cost you an influence are gonna either the influence is gone permanently because it's permanently assigned to wherever it is you spent that influence, or in other cases you spend the influence but the influence isn't permanently there. It's influence, you can get that influence back, and but there's not many ways to get the influence back. You did notice that there is a card here, the Treasurer on the advancement map. This is a good card. I will try and get it. The Treasurer lets you, when I go to the Treasury and do the action of the Treasury, it has an additional benefit that it regain 1 influence. There can only be an influence that was lost in a certain way. So this is a little tricky. This is actually easier in the board game because when you play the board game, you'll have these 12 influence markers that are sitting in front of you, right, in your little space, and you'll take them and you'll place them on the board for certain things, and then they're sitting there and you kind of know that you can't get it back. Then there's other times when you'll spend influence and it'll just go into the supply, and then you'll see it over in the supply and you'll think, okay, that's influence I can get back. So you have to, when you play the digital version, keep that idea in mind that there's temporary expenses of influence that you can get back, and there's permanent influence of that you can't get back. So the other part I was talking about, what you can see over here, you can also see where it has Haas and that I have 2 workers and 4 coins and 12 influence. It also tells you how much of each resource I have there. So you can see Maritza's got a wood and Kevin's got a pumpkin. So each of the other players went to their own spot. And in fact, if you look at the spot that gives clay over here in Sebastian's charter, you can see Sebastian's meeple there. Yeah, okay. So what's left? Okay, here's what cards I have currently. I have no cards, but if I had cards, I could go to here and see. And I can also go see what cards other players have, assuming it's public information. I think maybe all draws are public information. I can't remember. Anyway, okay, so let's go back to explaining the rest of the buildings that are already on the map at the beginning in the commons. Okay, so the Charterstone spot here, if you go here and spend 2 influence, now this is influence you can get back. If you spend 2 influence and 4 coins, you can open a crate, but you have to have a crate. I thought I started with a crate. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right spot. Here we go. Okay, yeah. So there's 2 buttons up here. The leftmost button here that I was pressing that says I don't have any cards. Those are for personas. I don't have any personas. Personas are like, they're like a profession that you might have in a way. I don't know. Maybe it's not best to overthink it. But in the first game, there are no... You might get a persona, but you can't use it in the game you get it, so it's not going to be a thing. So this button here shows me what advancement cards I have in my hand, and I have 1 crate. So these crates are fun, because the crates are how we unlock new elements to the game. So there are going to be, especially over the course of 12 games, there's going to be a steady supply of new crates showing up as cards, and when you take a crate, you don't know what's in it, it's like a surprise. When you take it and you go to the Charterstone in the commons and spend 2 influence and 4 coins and the crate card, you get 5 victory points, you advance the progress marker, and then you get to open the crate and see what's in the crate. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of this because everybody's got a crate card, and everybody's going to run over and try and get that open to see what's in their crate. And so that's cool. The one of the types of cards that you'll find in a crate is a building. Buildings are like these things that are already out here that I'm describing. Okay, some of them don't look like buildings. Like this one's a Zeppelin, one's a mine, but they're all just called buildings anyway. So a building card, it's a type of advancement card, and it's going to have a building symbol. And if you go here to the Zeppelin, you can spend 3 influence, turn in that building card, and it also is going to cost a bunch of resources. And the resources that it costs are going to vary building to building. You know, it could be like 2 pumpkins, a wood, and a grain, or whatever. And you spend those resources, you get 5 victory points, you advance the progress marker, and you get to take that building and put it in your charter. So now in the board game version, that card would have a sticker. You get to peel off the sticker, and you get to place the sticker on the board, and that's just a lot of fun. You can also overwrite buildings, except I think there's a rule you could never overwrite these six ones that we started, that we built first in our respective commons, because you need the ability to generate these resources in the game, or it's not going to work. I think I just lightly touched on reputation. The reputation track, as you gain reputation, you can decline reputation, because if you accept the reputation bonus, then you've got to use one of your influence markers and put it on the reputation track. And at the end of the game, whoever has the highest reputation gets 10 victory points. Whoever's second highest gets 7. Third highest gets 5. I think those are the numbers. And it's friendly ties. So if 2 people are tied for best, they both get 10. And then if 2 people are tied for second, they both get 7, etc. That is how reputation works. We have, up here, this is a spot I mentioned before. This is the cloud port. The cloud port is not in Sebastian's charter. It's just sitting over here. It's kind of like something in the commons, in that it's not anybody's charter. This is where you give back. This is where you give stuff to the Forever King. It's like, call it tithe, call it taxes, call it idolatry. I don't know. Anyway, you go here and but you get victory points for doing that. And so if I click on this, the hand symbol, sort of the hand outstretched like that symbol is symbolizing giving back to the Forever King. There's all these spots of what you can turn in. You can turn in resources, coins, or advancement cards and get victory points. And so there's 3 different times that someone can turn in resources for 3 victory points. So the first time, so this is like really good bang for the buck. You go here, spend 1 resource, and get 3 victory points. But then your marker, you've claimed that spot, and nobody else can claim it. So then somebody else can come along and spend 2 resources and get 3 victory points. Or you could just jump over here and spend 2 resources and get 4 victory points. Or down here, you can spend 3 resources and get 3 victory points and a reputation. So you can do the same thing with coins, and you can do the same thing with cards. So I have been playing this to see how the AI acts. The AI tends to go grab these resource ones really fast, so I'm just going to let the AI fight over that. I'm going to, what am I going to do? Okay, so I think I need to start thinking about what my strategy for this game is going to be. I think I've kind of explained all the rules. Anybody listening, if you have questions, pop into chat. Hi guys, I'm in chat. Feel free to say something. By the way, last night was the last night of the Seattle International Film Festival. And so this is a big thing that Dee and I love to do, is go to the film festival. And so we saw 30 movies over the last 11 days, I think it was. And it's just something we do every year. We've been doing this for 15 years or whatever. And it's really nice that the film festival is back in person, go to theaters and watch the films. And it's great seeing 3 or 4 movies back to back. You never know what's going to be good, what's going to suck. That's just part of the festival experience. And it was funny because yesterday we only saw 2 movies yesterday, but it was the closing night, and usually the opening and closing are really good, but I gotta say the closing movie last night sucked. And it looked like it was going to be so good. Dee and I were walking out of the theater, walking into it going, oh, this is going to be a really, really fun movie. It looks like it was really fun. The trailer was really great. It's got comedy, right? But the protagonist was such a dick that we were like, okay, we did not give that movie good reviews. Actually, I didn't say anything. You can vote on movies, you can critique them and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. I was saying, you can't say something nice about something, don't say anything at all. Of course, here I am dogging it. But anyway, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing the SIF thing. All right. Let's figure out. Oh man, they're doing construction up on the roof of where I live. Hopefully it's not going to be too big of a noise distraction for us today. Okay, so what I like to do, since the things that give you victory points all take influence, I kind of like to think about, for my strategy for a whole game, is how am I going to spend these 12 points of influence? And the options are, well, if I open a crate that's going to cost 2, that's going to have a couple buildings in it probably, and those cost 3 each, I could spend a lot of influence just doing that. I'm not actually a big fan of opening a lot of buildings though, because they take a lot of resources, and the resources come from different spots. And so remember I mentioned, if you can plan your strategy so that you're going to the same spot a lot of times in a row, it's just way more efficient. So I'm not going to go in that direction so much. I probably will open up the crate eventually, but it's not one thing I'm going to rush out and do right off the bat. Instead, I'm going to go, I really like these advancement cards. Some of them are really good. What I want to do is, in the early game, collect several of them, use the advancement cards for their benefits, and then go give them back to the Forever King for a bunch of points. Because I've noticed in my training for this that the AIs don't tend to go for these as much, so there's a little less competition, I think, for those. So I also do like getting the reputation. It's victory points. You're probably going to get about 40-50 victory points in a game, so getting 10 from reputation is a nice little chunk. It's also meaning that if you're in first place, you're pushing down everybody else too. So not only are you getting more victory points, you're denying victory points or suppressing victory points for other players. So that's a good swing. So I am probably going to, in terms of mapping out where my influence is going to be, I think I'm going to target having 4 points of reputation out of my 12 points of influence. And let's go look at the objectives. This is going to tell us a lot. Okay, so for objectives, I definitely, all these are doable. Okay, so if the amass wealth is by getting to 6 coins. I have 4 coins now. So before I spend any coins, I'm going to get 2 more coins at least, so that I can go and claim this. Once I claim this objective, then I can go spend the coins. I don't have to keep 6 coins from then on out. Same with Helping Hands. Helping Hands means I have to have 2 assistant cards. Well, all these cards up here on the advancement mat are assistant cards. The cards, ultimately there's a whole bunch of different cards that can show up on the advancement map, but right now all of them are the same type, which are these assistant cards, which have the two hands like this symbol. So if I have the objective of getting 2 of those, I can go up to that. Also, pay your dues is another objective. This is if I do the quota action is how you give stuff to the Forever King. So if I use that 3 times, I can come back and claim this objective. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go for these 3 objectives by way of collecting a bunch of these cards in the advancement mat, maybe 5 of them about, something like that. If I have, but you see, other people are going to be, the other players, I'm playing against 5 other AIs, so they're going to be out doing things like grabbing these cards and going and taking up the spots on the cloud port and all that sort of stuff like that. So I got to react to what they end up doing as well. So but first thing first is I'm going to build up wealth and resources so that I can build up resources so that I can turn 2 of the resources into coins and collect the objective with the 6 coins. But I'm going to need more than those 2. I also want to collect these cards. These cards cost a resource and a coin each. And to get the coin, I have to have the resource that I convert to a coin. So I'm going to need a whole bunch of resources. It doesn't matter what resources. So I'm just going to go visit my own farm space over and over and over again to collect up enough grain that I can convert a bunch of it to money and still have a bunch left over with coins to go out and collect these cards. There's no rush, by the way, to getting the objectives. It's not like the first person that gets there. You see there's 6 symbols down here at the bottom of each of these objective cards. We can all 6 charters players can claim the same objective, or all 3 of these objectives. So, all right, let's start playing. All right, I'm going to put a worker out. Now it's highlighting all the places I can go to. So I'm just going to go to my field and collect a grain. That's all you do in your turn. You do one thing. You put your worker somewhere, and then done. And now Christella's going, and Maya's going, and Sebastian's going, and Kevin's going. Oh, Kevin collected, or he got bumped. Not quite sure what. Anyway, okay. So Maritza has gone to the Charterstone and opened a crate. So this is always an exciting moment in the game. It's like, what's in the crate? Okay, so what's in the crate is these 4 cards. Okay, so the lumber mill and the wood market are both buildings. So she's holding this card in her hand. Actually, convert it to a building, she has to go to the Zeppelin and pay the cost. So what she just did is paid the cost at the Charterstone to open the crate. And now that 1 card that was a crate has been replaced by these 4 cards. And so now she can subsequently, if she gets 2 wood, a pumpkin, and a clay, which is the cost of the lumber mill, if she collects those resources, goes to the Zeppelin and also pays some influence, and she'll get victory points, and she gets to peel off the sticker. Well, it's digital, but if this is that at home, you get to peel off the sticker and place it in one of your plots, and that's just tons of fun. Okay, so what does the lumber mill do? It lets you spend an influence to gain 2 wood. This is a type of expenditure where you can get the influence back. The wood market, but you could spend a wood and gain a coin and a reputation. Also, this card that showed up in crate is new rules, and the new rules are personas. Remember I mentioned before, there are no personas yet in the game. So persona cards are cards that are worth victory points at the end of the campaign. They're at the beginning of each game, you look through the personas you have, and you get to choose one of them to be your active persona in the game, and the persona has some sort of advantage. Like this carpenter, after using a building with a wood cost, gain a victory point. Well, this is in Maritza's charter. She's all about wood, so that makes sense for her. So she could now be starting to think. Now, she can't use it in this game, so the personas in this game will not be used. She has this card. In the next game of the Legacy, she could look at this persona and she could say, this is the one I'm using. And so now she can start building a strategy around that. She can start thinking, hey, buildings with the wood cost, if I use those, build those buildings in my charter and I use them, anybody else can use them too, but she will get a victory point when she does so. Okay, so that's that. So the other thing I'm going to do in this game is I'm going to watch for the other charters building buildings that would be more efficient for me in terms of what I want to do in my strategy than just what I currently have available. But none of those buildings are out there yet, and they won't be for a little while. See, like Maritza has one now, but now if she wanted to build one of those buildings, she's got to go collect all those resources, and then she's got to go to the Zeppelin and build it. So, all right, I'm going to build another. So I went back to the same space, my farm, to get another wheat. And because my meeple was already on that spot, I got it back. So you could see how I could just keep going to this spot over and over and over again. Okay, so Kevin, this is going to be a recurring theme now. Kevin has went to the Charterstone, turned in his crate, and got some cards, which is the Hoist House, which he could build, spend an influence, and gain a coal and a coin, or spend a coal and get 2 coins. By the way, that's kind of nice. My idea of wanting to get resources to convert into coins, by going to the treasury, it's a 1-for-1. But if he builds the coal market, it'd be kind of nice to go over there and get coal and build 1-for-2. I don't know if she, Christelle, it's a girl, I guess. I don't know if she will, but we'll find out. So I might change strategies here and start collecting coal instead of collecting grain, because if she does build that, I'll be able to convert it more efficiently to coins. The refinery. Okay, May, it's building a refinery, and or it has opened a crate to get these cards. Refinery, spin influence to get a medal on a victory point or 2 coins. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be a recurring theme. A lot of these buildings are going to be kind of similar because they're kind of fundamental building block. They're not all identical, but they're pretty. A lot of them are going to be pretty similar. Now here comes Kevin. He's opening his crate. I'm feeling a little FOMO now because I haven't opened my crate yet, but I'm not going to go for that right away. Okay, so he's I feel like he's missing a card. He's only got 1. Oh well, okay. So anyway, he's got those cards. And I'm checking to make sure nobody's texting me. Everything seems to be working. All right, good. Okay, it's back to me. I could switch to trying to gain coal for 2 coins if he builds it, but it's a big if. Who knows if Christelle's really going to do that? So I think I'm just going to keep to my strategy because I do get my meeple back each time. So we'll see. Okay, one of those buildings get built, and I don't know which one is going to get built, if they're going to get built, blah 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 blah. So I'm just going to keep to my guns for now. Okay, so here Maritza went to the cloud port. Let's go look at the cloud port. There's her meeple, and we can see that oh, and Sebastian went earlier too. So you can see that these 2 rewards, the reward of turning in 1 resource for 3 victory points or 2 resources for 4 victory points, that they've claimed those spots. So if you want to convert resources into victory points by going to the cloud port, those opportunities are disappearing. So I mean, it's kind of tempting to just jump in there with my 2. I've got 3. I could go here. I think I'm gonna stick to my plan and keep accumulating resources. If I want to get, now I gotta figure out how much food I want to get. If I want to grab, if I wait too long, these cards are going to start disappearing. So if I want to get, say, 3 of these advancement cards, going to the market, I'm going to need then 3 resources and 3 coins. But to get the 3 coins, that's 3 more resources that I convert into coins. That means I need 6 food for that. Plus I need 2 more coins. Once I go to the grandstand and claim the reward for the 6 coins, then I can spend those coins. So I think that I'm just only going to need 2 more coins. That's 2 resources, and so out of all the food that I'm going to collect, I need 2 of them for coins, and I need the rest can be spent on up here. If I go for, let's say, 4 cards, 4 and 2 is 6. I think I need 6. Wait, let's this kind of math is hard for me. Like, oh wait, I just went to the wrong place. Let me undo that. Let's see here. I think this will be, yeah, it let me undo that. Okay. It says no new information was revealed. Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to sit here talking and not that's the challenge of this streaming thing, is chattering while you're gaming. Okay, I did the thing. Yes, finished my turn. Okay. Still, it's going up to the cloud port. May is went to get pumpkins, so I'm thinking May is collecting resources that she needs for building a building. Maritza is collecting wood. Okay, it's back to me. I'm at 4 grain. Okay, I said going to 6, so I'm going to go here 2 more times at least. Okay, here's another crate that somebody is opening. See what to get. Oh, Sebastian, it's the clay building. Yeah, spend a clay, get a coin and a victory point, or spend an influence, get 2 clay. Okay, so yeah, similar cards. Nobody's built any buildings yet. Okay, so let me do that math again. Okay, so if I get to 6, I know I want at least 6. The question is whether that's enough. Okay, so let's get 1 more grain. Then if I convert 2 of those into coins, I'll have the 6 coins that I can go and get that objective. I'll have 4 grain left over and 6 coins. I can go and get 4 advancement cards easily. Yeah, okay. Yep, I'm on track. Okay, so now that I have enough grain for the short term, there's a temptation to keep collecting grain so that you have enough for the whole game, but then some of your options start disappearing, right? And so you've kind of got to go jump on you can't just sit and do that forever and ever. Okay. Hey, okay, so Maritza was nice enough to visit my field and kick me back to work so that I have both my workers. at this moment when I want to switch to using a different building. So that's really convenient. That's really convenient. Okay, I'm gonna convert a grain to a coin. Here goes Castell, collecting clay. May went to the cloud port. And Sebastian went and visited my field. Kevin went to his own pumpkin patch and got some pumpkins, and Maritza went and got some metal. Okay, so now I'm gonna. By the way, one thing I didn't point out over here on the left, where it has a little summary of each player, the top row on the right is current victory points. So you can see I'm in last place on victory points. Everybody else has been getting victory points by going to the cloud port and the Charterstone. I haven't done either. So yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll catch up later. We'll find out. Okay, I'm going to go and get one more coin. Okay, done that. Okay, so now I have enough coins. I could convert more coins. You know, this whole thing about going to the same spot multiple times, but I want to claim this objective now and then go start buying advancement cards before other factions start buying. Nobody else has any money, so I think I'm in good shape on that front. I don't think anybody else is going to be doing it. Okay, so all right, so here I went to the grandstand. Imagine you're getting before the village and you're telling everybody, hey, look at all this wealth I have. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm going to select on this card and I'm going to score it. So it's going to then, my symbol of my charter horticultural hall is going to be lit up there. And this is a permanent expense of an influence. So you can see now I have 11 out of 11 influence instead of 12 out of 12. And also, good timing, not by plan, just by luck. When I went to the grandstand, it advanced the progress track, and I happened to be the player that advanced the token onto a reputation mark. So I got a free reputation. That's awesome. So it's asking me, do I want to increase my reputation or do I want to skip it? And the reason you might want to skip it is because it is going to cost you an influence that you're going to have to stick there. But yeah, this is part of my plan. So there we go. So I got one of my 4 reputations that I was targeting for this game. Okay, and so now my victory points are 5. So that feels a little better. I'm done. I did that thing. So this game, I have seen reviews of Charterstone where people said the first game is kind of tedious. Like, I don't know. I think it's interesting, but there is kind of a simplicity to it. But I like that. I like the fact that I get to learn this game. You know, when I got the game, we started playing the campaign. That you could kind of learn the game in phases. It reminded me of any old war gamers out there. You might remember there was a game that was popular back in the 70s, I think, called Squad Leader, which was a tactical combat game set in World War II, started on the Russian front, and the game is a very complicated game, especially for its time. This is back in the days when games weren't as complicated as they are now. And it had scenarios where the first scenario that you would play was the tractor factory at Stalingrad. And you just had infantry and machine guns and leaders. I think that was all you had in the game, right? And so you play that game, and then the next game would introduce some other new element to it, and then another new element. Every game would introduce elements to the rules. And this was very innovative at its time. Like, wow, a game where you don't have to learn all of it at once. I like that because, I don't know, I'm a little slow sometimes. So I like this element of Charterstone, that the game starts off kind of easy, but trust me, there's a lot of depth that will be unveiled if you get this game yourself and go for the legacy of playing all the games, the whole campaign. All right, now I gotta pay attention. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, so I got my objective. So now I can spend coins. I have 6 coins. I got 4 food. I am going to start going up here and grabbing these advancement cards. That's what I'm going to do. I wish I had both my workers, then I would know I could go consecutively, but maybe somebody else will go to the grand scan and bump my workers. Otherwise, next turn for the first time, I will have to waste a turn by retrieving my worker. So far, I haven't had to do that, but I very likely that I will have to do that soon. Okay, so I'm going to go here to the market and spend a coin and a resource and get one of these things. Okay, since I know I'm going to go to the market a few times, I think I want to get the archivist. Every time you use the market, gain 1 reputation. You may gain 1 reputation. Okay, so I'm going to take this card, and now you can see where I'm going to get those other reputation points. It's by just going back to the market a few times. So that's almost like a little combo, like a little engine got going for a little while anyway. Let's see how things go. Nobody has built a building yet that I can use. Oh, yes, I got bumped at the market. Somebody else went to the market and also bought a advancement card. Okay, I feel like oh, and then Maritza's, okay, I started the run on advancement cards. Oh my god, I'm glad I didn't wait any longer. So this is both good and bad. It means I may not get 4 advancement cards. I may not get all the ones I want, but it also means my workers keep getting bumped back. So I'm not having to spend, waste turns recalling workers. So I don't know if I like that or not. I'm going to spend this and see what's left. Okay, so longshoreman, when I gain a reputation, I gain a victory point. Well, that'd be good. I'm going to do that 2 more times. That's kind of worth 2 victory points, but then it's done. If I use the Zeppelin, I get 2 victory points. I don't plan on using the Zeppelin. When you use the treasury, regain an influence. This could be good. When you use a cloud port, gain 1 more VP. Oh, I'm going to go to the cloud port a bunch of times. When you use the grandstand, gain reputation. Well, there is a limit to how much reputation. I'm targeting 4 reputation, and I think I'm on track for getting all of those. So I don't think the maestro. It's the treasurer and the broker are the 2 that are most interesting. I think I'm going to go for the broker because I know that that's going to be worth victory points for me, for sure. And probably several, 4 or 5. I'm probably going to go there 4 or 5 turns because I can give away all my advancement cards that I'm collecting right now. I can turn around and give them back to the cloud port. Also, any of the money that I don't spend, I could go there. Or I can go get more money and take it there. I also like getting the reputation back, the influence back that I spend, but I don't know that I'm going to spend it so much that I need to go get it back. I don't know. I'm going to take the one I know that I'm going to benefit from, which is broker. When I come back next turn, if the treasurer is still there, I'm going to take it. Okay, so because of taking the advancement card last turn, that gives me a reputation whenever I use the market, I just got another, since I just used the market, I just got another reputation. So now I'm in first place on a reputation. And in case you kind of missed that, let me show you that one more time. So it's showing that I have 2. So if the game ended right now, I'd get 10. Cristal and May each have 1 influence, so they'd each gain 7. The other 3 have 0. So that's what that's showing us. But the game's not over. So, okay, that is that. Let's see. Cristal. Yep, came to get an advancement card. I jumped in there just in time. I'm glad I didn't wait any longer. Okay, there's a couple people that aren't going there. Good. Kevin went there. Maritza doesn't have any money, so she can't go there. Okay, now it's back to me. There's only 2 cards left. Darn. Okay. I'm glad there's at least 1 left. Okay, so I'm probably not going to get. Let's see. Oh, actually, nobody else has money. Everybody else is broke. Okay, I might get both of these last 2 cards. Let's see which ones are left. Oh, the one I wanted, the influence. Okay, good. When you use the treasury. Okay. And yes, I am going to increase my reputation 1. And there we go. Okay, yeah, nobody else has any money, so I think I am going to get that last advancement card. Oh, except I have to retrieve all my workers. Okay, so first time in the game where I basically lose a turn. Because I waste a turn. Retrieve all my workers. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy that the game has gone this long without me having to waste a turn getting my workers back. Okay, Sebastian's up there. Kevin is getting metal. Maritza is... What's Maritza doing? Getting metal. Now it's back to me. Okay, there is... I have 1 food left, and there's 1 advancement card left. Wow, that's great. That sounds like it was a plan. It was not a plan. Okay, I'm gonna increase my reputation 1. I think 4 is about as much as I want to do there. I don't know, I might go to 5, but I only have 7 influence left, so this is a good time to be thinking about where I'm going to spend those last 7 influence of the game. And by the way, we're on the 19 of the progress track, so there's still quite a bit of this game in front of us. We've gone this far, and there's this much left. But the rate of advancement will pick up as the game goes longer. So if you ever play this game, watch out for that last... on the board, when you play the board game version, this advancement track goes like this, and it has this little corner that comes around like that. We always say as soon as it starts going around that corner, the game's going to end sooner than you think. So be ready. All right. Okay, so what was I doing? Okay, so I'm going to think about where I'm going to spend my last 7 influence. What is my plan here? Now we're kind of going into Act 2. I'm going to spend 2 on objectives. In fact, I qualify for one of those objectives now. I have at least 2 assistant cards, so I could go claim that. I can't claim paying the dues until I've given 3 gifts to the cloud port. So even though let's see, how many cards do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 cards. Well, if I go open the crate, to open the crate, I need 2 coins. I need 4 coins total, meaning I need 2 more. That would give me more. That'll give me more cards. I'll basically lose this card, but replace it with 2 or 3 others. So it might be good, but I'm also worried about getting to the cloud port. I'm worried about the AI taking some of these spots that I want, where I want to get a bunch of victory points here. So the question is, do I go get the 2 coins, or do I go... I don't have to rush to the grandstand. Nobody can block you from getting the points of the grandstand. So is there any reason to... I mean, obviously I want to grab the 2 helping hand, the objective for having 2 assistants. I can't give away all my assistant cards and then go and get this. I got to grab this while I still have 2 of them. But I have... I think what I want to do, and we're going to play kind of ambitiously here, I think I want to go ahead and get 2 more coins, turn the coin, go to the Charterstone, convert those coins, and convert that 1 crate, open that crate, get a bunch of more cards, and then start my run on dumping cards in the cloud port. I think there's enough spots there, since nobody's grabbed any. I'm hoping that I have enough time to do that. Okay, I wish there was one of those spots where you spend a coal and get 2 coins. I just go get a coal. There's not. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to spend... be nice also to Now getting the influence back. To spend influence, I need the coins, so I got to go to do the coins, even though I don't have influence to get back by going to the treasury. Okay, so we're back to going to collect two resources, convert those 2 resources to 2 coins, then take the 4 coins to the Charterstone, open the crate, and then do a run on Cloudport, giving away all my cards, except for 2 assistants, because I got to claim that objective. Okay. Okay, I've got... Where's my... I have 1 worker's on the board somewhere. Probably... oh. He's still on the market from way back when. Okay. There's a... Not that far back. I said way back when, like 3 turns ago. Okay, so I'm going to go and try and get 2 more grain. I'm hoping somebody bumps one of mine. Come on, Ritza. Go to the market. No. Or go get some grain. Okay, I got no workers. I got to retrieve. I got to waste a turn getting all my workers back. Yeah, see, that's the difference. When you start having to go to different spots to get the things done, it's less efficient than just going to the same spot all the time. But, you know, you can only do that. You know, it is what it is. All right. Nobody's built any buildings yet. Okay, now it's my turn. I've got my... No, I need 1 more coin. I need 1 more grain. All right, fine. Oh, May went to the treasury. Oh, everybody's going to get coins. Maybe they're going to start going to the Cloudport and dumping their coins. Yeah. Okay, so I have... okay, I need to go and convert my... Well, hey, people are going to the treasury and converting resources to coins. Maybe I'll get my worker back. Okay, I got 3 coins. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I got my worker back at the treasury. Good. Alright, May is getting metal. Sebastian is getting clay. Kevin is... what's Kevin going to do? Kevin went to the treasury. Okay, cool. I got my worker back again. Alright, so now I am going to... I'm going to go back to the treasury 1 more time, convert my last grain into a coin, and then I'm going to go to the Charterstone and open my crate. Next turn. Okay, hopefully somebody will go to... Yep, I got my worker back. Okay, good, good. I don't see anybody going up to the Cloudport recently. Although, oh, Sebastian. No, Sebastian went and got pumpkins. Maritza is... It's kind of hard to see these guys fly around. If it's hard for me to see, you're probably not able to see them hardly at all. All right. Okay, let's see here. How's everybody doing out there? Feel free to say something in chat. I am monitoring the chat, so write something there. I can't tell who's on if you don't say hi, so if you want to say hi, just pop in the chat and say hi. We're not formal here. Okay, I've got my 4 coins, right? Yes, I got my 4 coins. Let's do it. Let's go open the crate. So I'm going to go open the crate. That's going to give me... there's my crate card. I'm spending the crate as part of my cost. Open the crate, and it's going to look like a lot of the other buildings. There's going to be one where you can spend an influence or something. I don't remember exactly what they are, but they're going to be pretty similar. And it's possible we'll build one of these buildings. Okay, so this is the granary. Spend 2... It cost me 2 wheat, 1 pumpkin, and 1 clay to build a granary, and then in the future, then there will be a building in my charter where you can go to that building, assign your worker to it, and spend a influence to gain a wheat and a coin. But that spending an influence is really expensive. Like your influence, you only have so much of it. Although the way things are going, I might actually not spend all my influence this game. We'll see. And then that's all that's in that crate, plus the persona. These are the... Oh yeah, no, I got another building here. Okay, so this building, spend a wheat or grain and get a coin and a reputation. I don't think I want to put any more of my influence points on a reputation track. Neither one of these buildings are like, oh my god, I gotta rush out and build these buildings. And the farmer, if this was an ongoing legacy campaign, the next game, I could pick the farmer as my persona, and every time I use a building with a grain cost, gain a victory point. So I would be building a strategy around that. Okay, great. So I've gotten those crates. I spent the coins. You notice I'm out of coins. I'm out of resources. I have 5 influence left out of 7. The 2 influence I spent here are not sitting on the board somewhere where I can't get them back. They're in the general supply. And if I did something that let me get an influence back, like go to the treasury, I could go there and get those 2 influences back. So I potentially have 7 influence I could spend. But let's think about where I'm going to spend the 5. The 5 influence, I'm going to grab these 2 objectives eventually. And if I put if I go to the cloud port 3 times, that's going to take 3 influence. Claiming these 2 objectives is going to take 2 more, so that's 5. So almost like I planned it that way. I thought I would be close, and that's perfect. That's great. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the cloud port 3 times and go to the grandstand twice. And the game, if there's enough time, then we'll go out and try and get 2 influence back. But you see, getting 2 influence back won't give me enough influence to go to the Zeppelin. That takes 3. 3 influence. Oh, somebody built a building. Kevin built a building where if you spend a pumpkin, you can get a coin and a victory point. Okay, well that's interesting. Okay, I have no workers in my bank, so I gotta waste a turn retrieving my workers. Okay, that's fine. That's the price of varying different actions around. I'm clicking on my main screen. That's always really dangerous, because that's where all the magic happens with OBS. And it's really easy to have to be very careful what you click in that window or things crash and go haywire. All right, it's back to me. Okay, so I ultimately want to spend 2 of my 5 influence collecting these 2 objectives, but I've got to go to the cloud port 3 times before I can collect this one. But I don't want to, it'd just be really easy for me to do something dumb and give away those assistant cards and then not qualify for this objective. So even though this isn't the most efficient way of doing it, I'm going to go ahead and go to the grandstand now. It'd be better to be able to do your 2 grandstands back to back, all your cloud ports back to back, because of this efficiency of returning workers, being able to bump your own worker. But I know myself well enough to know how easy it is to forget what you're doing, especially while you're talking. Okay, so I have gone there. It's giving me the option of increasing my reputation. Oh, because I covered up another reputation spot. I am going to skip spending one because I only have so many influence points here, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't want to spend more on, you just want to be in first place, maybe. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, is be in first place in reputation. And I've got 4, nobody else has more than 1, so I think I'm gonna skip it. Yeah, I know, I'm skipping it. There you go, okay. So I've got I did that grandstand and have claimed that objective. I'm a much better point situation now. I'm actually right now in first place. Okay, May has built a building that lets you convert a metal into 2 points. Oh, and Kevin's gone to the cloud port. I wonder what Kevin gave up at the cloud port. Okay, I think now is the time to go to the cloud port and start dumping off my cards. So let's look up there. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, all those spots are still available. You see now, almost all the resource spots have been taken, except for 3 for 4 victory points. You notice these victory point numbers have gone up just because I have that card that gives me an extra victory point when I go to the cloud port. So I'm also going to be very careful not to spend that card, hopefully. Knock on wood. Okay, let's... Okay, yeah, we're going to go to the cloud port and start dumping cards to the cloud port. Okay, choose a worker to... Oh, here we go. Okay, worker, cloud port, boom, and let's get the cheap one first. 1 card, 4 points. Yes, let's pay an advancement card. Which one? Okay, I don't know if I'm going to build one of these buildings or not, but I'm certainly not going to build both of them. So let's give up one of these buildings. And I don't... There's no way I would use the granary if I got it. So let's go ahead and discard that. There, Forever King. Yay! Oh, good. Christelle went and bumped my worker off the cloud port. That's great. I don't know what she gave up there, but we'll find out. And Sebastian is going to the cloud port. I wish I could rename the AI names. You know, it'd have been fun to name them all people who were the first Gen Con, and Mike Carr and Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson and all the old grognards. That would be fun. Okay. We're going back to the cloud port. Let's see. Do I want to spend two cards for 4 points or 2 cards for 5 points? I think I want to spend 2 cards for 5 points. Yeah. I don't think I need the reputation. Okay, so what I want to do is make sure I don't spend the one that's giving me extra points. I don't want to spend the broker. That's the one giving me the extra victory point when I use the cloud port. So let's see. I can gain a reputation when I grandstand. I think I have enough. I think these ones that gain reputation are... I might want to use the treasurer to get influence back. So let's choose this one. I forgot how many I have to get rid of. It'll tell me. Okay, 2. All right. So I have done that. Okay, I've got 2 influence left out of potentially 4. The progress track is on the 14, so we're kind of halfway through the track, but that means we're closer to like probably 2/3 the way through the game. So let's retrieve workers. Is anybody out of influence yet? That's when the game really starts to pick up in terms of going towards the end. No, nobody's out of influence yet. It's like I'm almost out of influence. Oh, May. Okay, so I am going to... I'm not going to explain what any of that was. May just opened a really cool crate that has a lot to do with like the next thing that happens in the like the next big... It's the big reveal of the next cool thing that that is unlocked in the game, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. Oh. There is new rules for constructing buildings. Okay, yeah, I'm I'm just being a little bit silly here. Try to preserve some of the mystery for those of you who decide, wow, I really wonder what that was. I guess I could have to go out and buy the game, or just buy it on Steam, play it on Steam, however you want to do it. Let's see. Chicago, hi. Lacuz 9? Chicago. Sentence fragment. Another. Alright. Choose a worker to place. Okay, so how many cards do I have left? I have 3 cards left. Let's see, the one that gives me a victory point when I use a cloud port. If I spend that card, will I get the victory point? I'm not sure. Let's see what spots are still left on this cloud port chart. I could spend 2 for 4, or I could spend 3 for 5. I think if I spend the card, it gives me an extra point, though I'm looking at the extra point. So I think it's better to spend 2 for 4 and keep that card so that I really get 5. Or, well, 4, so 4. Anyway, yeah, you get the idea. Okay, let's get a worker. Oh, I got both my workers back. Should I use that information? No, let's just go to the cloud port. Do the cloud port. And let's collect the, let's build the 2 advancement cards. If I I'm not going to have enough to build a building if I do the objective. And the objective is, I might as well do the objective. I'm all set up for it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spend that one. The treasurer, I'm keeping the broker for now. So I'm going to discard the gray market, and I'm going to discard the treasurer. That puts me up to 28 points. Got a nice lead going here, and the game has enough turns left. I'm going to go claim my objective. Oh, I see. Marcus asked a question. If you're joining us live in chat, where are you from? That explains the Chicago. All right, Chicago. Welcome from Chicago. I'm in Seattle. Okay, I have 1 influence left out of potential of 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and spend my 1 influence on claiming the last of these 3 rewards. Since I've paid my dues, I've given 3 gifts to the Forever King. I can score that. Now I'm out of influence, which is actually to my... Since I am ahead, I'm ahead quite a bit. Okay, so this is not a very interesting game from my... this looks like I'm walking away with this game. Maybe I should have set the AIs harder. It's not my goal to, like, I try to play these games and set the eyes to where, you know, it's a good match. That's where you want, right? If you look at my win-loss record, you'll see, yeah, I've lost quite a few games, so I'm doing that. Okay, so I gotta retrieve all of my workers. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna leave my... I'm not gonna try and regain my... Oh, I can't even regain my influence. I gave to the Cloud King, to Forever King. I gave up my card that lets me get influence back. Okay, so that's off the table. Okay, so the game is gonna rush to the end pretty quickly now. So it's a point of, like, where can I get some easy victory points? Or what can I do that's useful for victory points with no influence left to spend? I think it's go and collect pumpkins and turn pumpkins in for coins and victory points. That seems to be, unless I'm missing something. I don't have any crates to open. I don't have any more goals to grandstand. I can't build any buildings because I don't have enough influence, and therefore I sold my 1 building or both the buildings I had. Okay, yeah, that's all I can do. So the question. Okay, so let's go to the pumpkin patch and get a pumpkin, and then see how. See if I'm keeping a close eye on the progress track. See if it stays at 8 until it gets to me. It's gonna advance when it gets to my turn because I have no influence. And so, if you'll recall, if at somebody's turn, if they're out of influence, it causes the progress to advance. See, it dropped to 7 at my turn. Okay, I think that I can get another pumpkin. I want to make sure that I have a couple of turns for turning pumpkins into coins and victory points. So the question is, how many pumpkins dare I go get? Okay, now May is out of influence too, so the game is really going to start flying to a conclusion here. So I am, I think I'm just going to go convert. Yeah, now it's at 5. Progress track is at 5. Okay, so I'm going to go and get a coin and a victory point for one of my pumpkins. And I'm hoping that somebody will go to one of the buildings in Kevin's charter and get me and bump one of my workers back to me. Maybe Kevin, it's your charter. You should go visit one of the buildings in your charter. Nope. Okay, Maritza, nope. Okay, so now I have got to use my turn to retrieve my workers. Okay, so this game has, when the progress track is exhausted, the game doesn't end immediately. It will finish that turn. So if I don't, if we're going to lose 1 progress when it's her turn because she has no influence left. If Christelle and May don't advance the progress marker through some other way, then we'll all get another turn. Oh, Sebastian did it, but it's his turn. Okay, so the progress marker has reached the end of the track, but it happened on Sebastian's turn. So we finish this round, so everybody gets 1 more turn, which is great. I get to convert my pumpkin, my last pumpkin, into a coin and a victory point. And I've got 2 coins left. So, you know, if that feels close to efficient. Like efficient would be having nothing left at all, right? And you managed to convert everything to victory points. Okay. The progress marker has reached the end. All the players have made their moves. It's time to see the results. Here we go. Over there on the left. I won. Yay! 45 points. Maritza, 30, 29, 28, 20, 20. That is the thing. Okay, so I got a little thing. Let's get a...
Peter Carbon Unit, you make this game look easy.
Thank you, Steve. Steve Connor does our animations, cinematics, we call them, for our streams. Thank you, Steve. I want to thank also Marcus Mays, or God King Marcus. He is our technical director. He's one that's in the back. He's holding my hand, making sure if I have a problem, he's there to help me get through it, recover, whatever it takes. Tanel Lovett is our Gen Con TV art director. She does all the graphics, and she also does illustrations. She's got her own show also on Gen Con TV called Studio Night, which is the 3rd Saturday of every month. She goes down to Caldea Studios and does live art draws. I mentioned Marcus already. He's also a producer for one of our shows, Table Takes, and also Table Takes Game Night. So every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, we have Table Takes. I'm usually on that show as well, so come to Table Takes and see us talk about the week's news. We also have Sarah Moore is our social media princess and is also a producer of one of our shows, Sarah's Table, which runs on Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we have Danny Kennedy over at Gen Con Corporate. She does social media for Gen Con, and she loves us, thankfully. So she tries to give us as much love as possible. And yeah, I hope you like this show. I'm not sure what I'm going to run next week, but I'll post something on Facebook. So if you don't already follow me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. I'll give some sort of update there on what I'll be playing next week before next Monday. I hope you come back. I hope you like this. It's a lot of fun. I'm sitting on Twitch, chatting and talking about games and playing games. Looking better. I hope I have piqued someone's interest in Charterstone. It is a beautiful game, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good Euro style worker placement game where the options of what you can do just explode in cool ways over a campaign, and you're left with a standalone board game that you can play as often as you like to. That will be a unique one in a million, unique to the whole world, because what are the buildings that are going to be there that you can go to are going to depend on which buildings that your players built. All right, that's it. I'm done. Have a good week. Talk to you later.